Today, we're going to have an interview with 4.5 people who are absolutely inspiring with the way they have overcome obstacles in their life to crush it on Amazon. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Serious Sellers Podcast by Helium 10. I am your host, Bradley Sutton, and this is the show that's a completely BS-free, unscripted, and unrehearsed organic conversation about serious strategies for serious sellers of any level in the Amazon and e-commerce world. Now, today on this episode, we have part 2 of a recap of a series of a webinar that we did that we called Real People, Real Profits. I like to call them the average Joes and average Sallys that we're interviewing. And why? It's because these are people who could be our next door neighbors. They could be you. They could be me. These people I have interviewed, they don't have courses to sell you. They don't have software to sell you. They are just, real people who are making real money on Amazon and e-commerce. And they come from different educational backgrounds, different cultural backgrounds, different age groups, etc. So I want to inspire you, hopefully, with this. Maybe you're already selling on Amazon, or maybe you're not yet. You're feeling down on the possibilities. You're not sure if you're ready to take that leap. Well, perhaps one of these stories are going to resonate with you. These first couple ones that I am going to interview, they've been on the podcast before. They're fan favorites out there, come from completely opposite ends of the spectrum. One was a kind of like had her dream job, making a hefty 6-figure salary there at one of the top law firms in London. Gave it all up to move to Costa Rica and then start selling on Amazon. Why did she do that? We're going to find out. The other one was making minimum dollars before from where she was from in Nigeria. Came to the United States, was starting a family, didn't know what to do, got into Amazon, and now they're both making millions of dollars on the platform. Let's hear their stories now. Our first guest here, Anne, has a little bit different journey than what you would typically think of somebody getting into e-commerce. Maybe the stereotypical mindset is, hey, there's somebody who is, needs a huge career change because they're getting out of the military, or, maybe they're kind of short on money. They want to make some extra money. But Anne kind of like, quote unquote, made it in the corporate world. She had a big, well-paying job, reached the pinnacle of her profession, if I'm not mistaken. So Anne, can you take us back again and give us your origin story and let us know, why you wanted to kind of leave something behind that maybe other people are trying to achieve?
Hi, Bradley. Yes, I was a corporate lawyer working in London. I worked for the largest law firm in the world, actually a California law firm, started over where you guys are. And I worked in oil and gas project finance. And I kind of spent my whole life on that achievement track, go to the best school, get the best grades, get the best job. And then I did that and I was like, oh, this is awful. And I was just working literally 22 hours a day, not sleeping, was getting, tight in the chest from stress. And I saw my friends having families and just having so much stress. And I said, this is really not what I want for my life. And I just made a decision that life was more important to me than achievement, than money. And so I quit it all and moved down to Costa Rica. And long story short, started my Amazon business here a few years after that. And now I get to live a beautiful life, make more than I did at the law firm, and be home every day with my gorgeous little kiddos.
Yeah, that's just great. And, I used to live in Japan, and they used to have this this word called salaryman, where you were just like married to the company. You would get there at 7 a.m., leave at 7 p.m., and you strived for that kind of lifestyle. But me too. I've been in corporate life. I know how stressful it can be. There's a lot of people who don't want that salaryman kind of lifestyle. It's too stressful. They realize that, they have no family life and things like that. Anybody out there, watching this, do you have some kind of stressful job right now that maybe could be considered the pinnacle of success, but you're just not happy? Maybe you're in the same shoes that Anne was, a few years ago. Now, Anne, when you made that decision to leave, your firm and move to Costa Rica, you weren't some like, college kid rebelling or dropping out of college or something. You were an adult, of course, by that time, but still, I've got to think that it was still, there was maybe some drama or something, letting your family know, yeah, I'm giving up this quote unquote dream job and I'm going to just y'all up and move to Costa Rica. Was there any issue, letting the family know about that?
Yeah, totally. Everyone thought I was bananas. Everyone still kind of thinks I'm bananas. I'm like the hippy dippy chick of the Amazon world, posting Instagram videos of me doing crazy dances and stuff. But yeah, especially lawyers, right? We're very risk averse and, love stability and certainty and the salary. And my friends were all like, they just assumed that I was going to be back. And the people that didn't assume that I was going to be back, it was like, but what if this? What if that? And I said, I'm not jumping off a cliff. I'm just, I'm going to go see how this is. And when people ask me how I did it, I always say the most difficult part of the whole process is making the decision. Like once the decision is made, you figure it out. It's something that Tony Robbins also says is don't get stuck in the tyranny of how. If you're thinking how to do something first, you're going to talk yourself out of it. Have your why, your purpose, the why and the what, and let how, then you figure out the how. So that was kind of what just happened. I was flying by the seat of my pants and, just really with the constant belief that there had to be more to life. And for me, there definitely is.
Yep. Now, let's go ahead and switch gears for a second here. We're going to invite another guest on here, Elizabeth. And she also has been on the podcast. And I love doing these interviews in pairs because I usually have people who have never even met each other virtually nor in person. And they come from completely different, educational backgrounds and work backgrounds and even cultural backgrounds. So, Elizabeth, can you let us know where were you born and raised and what was your journey to e-commerce like?
So I was born in Nigeria. It's a country in West Africa, and I moved into to the US 6 years ago. And then when I moved to the US, I stayed in Chicago for a year and it was too cold for me. I told my husband, I'm like, if you want a happy wife, then we got to leave this city because it was just too cold for me. So when I moved over to Vegas, the job opportunity I was getting wasn't something that I really wanted to go into. And the money they were offering me to was like a fraction of what I'm already earning in Chicago. And 2 months down, looking for a job, I realized that I was pregnant. So I was like, you know what? Does it even make sense for me to look for a job? And then in the next 3-4 months, I'm taking maternity leave. And one day my husband is a nurse. He came back and he was like, you know what? Why don't you go watch so-and-so video on YouTube about how to sell on Amazon? I was like, okay, yeah, why not? I don't have anything doing. And then it basically took me like a month watching free Amazon videos. I joined the Helium 10 Facebook group. That's where I met Sharon. I saw she was a Nigerian, and I saw like I think 3 other Nigerian individuals on that platform. So we formed like this little Facebook group, and we started teaching each other the little that we learned. So my first product was actually a $500 phone case. I know, the worst product to sell ever. But I was just so lucky that everything just fell in place for me, because at the point where I ordered those phone cases was when the phone cases just got launched. So there wasn't too much competition per se in that niche. So I was able to still sell and make a little bit of money. But later on, I realized, this is not the niche for me. So I moved into 2-3 different niches before I found, my passion. And after that point, it's been like smooth sailing. I wouldn't call it smooth sailing all the way, but at least I've seen a lot of success that, kept validating that, okay, me going down this path is something that I actually think I was born to do, kind of, if that makes sense. Yeah.
All right, now switching back to Anne, I know you're a mother of 2. It's very important to you, and you're very good at always, recognizing your blessings. So, just out of curiosity, what are your main like hashtag blessed moments that you can say has come from that decision you made a while back to go ahead and, move to Costa Rica and then become an online entrepreneur? Like, is it the work-life balance? Is it about your family life? What are the biggest blessings that you've received from this career path that you've chosen?
Well, I mean, really, I would say the biggest blessing is my family life. I mean, my kids think I'm a stay-at-home mom because I do the work when they're not around. So I make them breakfast every morning. I take them to school. I pick them up. I make them dinner every night. And I'm so, so grateful for that because I know it's a privilege, and I missed being with my mom. She was a working mom growing up. So really just being able to be with them and then having the freedom to travel both by myself and with my kids, it's awesome. You just bring your laptop and you can do anything. And, in contrast to being in the corporate world, like I would go to lawyers' conferences, I mean, usually within my own firm. And man, they're really boring. And also everyone is miserable. I mean, it's mostly a bunch of old white dudes, but everyone who's there is kind of miserable. And the talk is around like, who's billed the most hours, like who has the worst clients, like basically a competition of whose life sucks the most. And it's so different in e-commerce. I was just at an event and, Bradley and I met at an event. We were just talking about this. When Bradley and I met, it was in an after party of an Amazon event. And Bradley was like busting some dance moves. And I was like, hang on, who's this guy? We need to be friends. And, when you're successful in e-commerce, I think you're really successful in life, and everybody, it's such a different environment. Everybody wants to help each other. Everybody wants to give tips because, you don't want to be lonely at the top. You want all your friends to be doing as well as you are so you can all do fun, epic things. And, like I was just saying to Bradley, my 40th birthday is next month and we're going to Mexico. And I just decided randomly like 2 months ago, we should do something. I messaged a few of my friends saying, hey, what do you guys think about going to Mexico for a week in January? Literally, the whole thing was planned in 2 days. Every single one of the 13 people that I asked said yes. And everybody has kids too, and that's just because they can be like, okay, let's go do it. And Elizabeth, girl, I'm from Chicago, so I know how you feel about the cold. I turned 18 and left and never looked back. I only applied to university in California and in the South. I was like, no more snow for me.
All right. What about you, Elizabeth? What do you think are some of your biggest blessings that have come from, choosing to become an online entrepreneur as opposed to maybe the path that you were going down?
Yeah, definitely. It's also the work-life balance, having to be home with my daughters, watch them grow, never miss any kind of milestones, you know what I mean? So that has been awesome. This year, myself and my family, we've been traveling a lot, giving us the opportunity to bond and grow as a family. And just to have that kind of, passive income lifestyle that, I've always thought was never possible because, just looking around the people that I was used to seeing, always stressing about, work and not being able to balance those two aspects of their lives. And just realizing that this is possible for me. And, it's just been mind blowing. And I'm so grateful for that.
That's awesome. Now, Anne, last couple of questions for you. First of all, we're right here at the end of 2021. You probably don't have your numbers necessarily right there, your exact numbers right there in front of you. But if you were to estimate what was your gross revenue here in 2021, how much was it? And then the second question would be, hey, let's say there's somebody out there that's watching this program right now, and they are Ann Ferris from 6 years ago when you were, stressing out over a corporate job, even though you're making a lot of money. Like, what would be your advice to somebody who might not be feeling completely satisfied, even though they kind of quote unquote made it out there?
My sales would be like 1.8 to 2 million for the year on Amazon. I also sell off Amazon, and that's growing this year too. And my biggest piece of advice, if you're thinking about doing this, is, tell yourself and really know deep down that you can, make a vision board, put up your dreams and really understand why you're doing this, because when you start, there will be hurdles. It's not super easy, But if you know why you're doing it, if you believe in the future that you've dreamed up in your head, you will overcome all of those hurdles. And, just really dream big, and anything is possible.
I love it. Love it. And let's go back to Elizabeth now. Same questions for you. End of 2021, about how much is your gross revenue going to end up being? And then what words of advice would you give to somebody who is in your shoes, maybe not sure what direction to go in life and maybe just starting a family?
Okay. So my estimated revenue for this year is about $5 million. Anything that has to do with fear, business opportunity, it doesn't go together. You know what I mean? Risk, yes, but that fear, doubting yourself, self-doubt is something that you have to take out of the equation totally, just because you can, right? And that was the biggest hurdle for me. And I would have never thought 5 years ago that I would be out here designing products, like really designing products, having something in my mind, putting it out there, people loving and buying something that was just, in my head. Like, to me, it's like, yeah, to me, that's like the magic of it all. Cause I'm always nervous putting out something. And I always tell my husband, I'm like, do you think someone will pay so and so for this? You'd be like, when have you ever doubted yourself? Why do you want to start now? So just always put that good vibe, good energy out there. Don't doubt yourself. If you fail, you get up, and just keep moving. And definitely it's worth it. I've been doing this for only 3 years, and it's just, I can't even still believe that this year I grossed $5 million. Like, it's crazy.
This is so great. To the both of you, I thank you so much. I do think that there are a lot of people out there who are watching this who might hopefully be inspired by what you're saying, because you two were the situations that you were in before, even though they're completely different. I'm sure there are people out there watching this right now who right now might be in the same shoes that y'all were in a few years ago. So hopefully they're inspired by this and want to at least look into taking action about maybe going down the paths that you guys have done and had so much success. So thank you again for coming on here. If we do this again in 2022, I'd love to reach out to you and see where you guys are at then. So thanks a lot again.
Bye. Thanks, Bradley.
Bye.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
All right, now, which one did you identify with? Did you identify with Anne? Maybe you're like stressed out in this crazy job that you're working 80 hours a week, and even though you're making big salary, it's like you're wondering, is there a better way to live than this? Or maybe you're on the side of Elizabeth, and you're starting a family, just jumping from different job to different job, and you want to just try something new for income, right? Regardless, what do they both have in common? They took action, they jumped in, and they learned the tricks of the trade, and then got in this head first. All right. They didn't hesitate. They just were like, hey, I'm all in. And now we can see that they have definitely benefited from that kind of attitude. Now, these next two that we are going to interview, again, have been on the podcast before. And again, very inspiring stories. They're grossing the most out of all of our guests that we've had on here today, but they come from completely different backgrounds. Again, let's hear their story. What you're about to hear now from these two gentlemen is not the norm, but I want to show you what exactly is possible for an average Joe or average Sally out there on Amazon. So we've got Ryan here. First of all, Ryan, how's it going?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Now, Ryan, has been on our podcast a couple times before, but, why is he an average Joe? Well, he's, he doesn't have a course to sell you, or he doesn't have a big training program or software or anything. He's just a regular guy. As a matter of fact, but he's anything but a regular guy in Amazon, and you're going to find out why. Now, Ryan, what's your background as far as like your education and what your first job was, and then how you got into Amazon?
Sure. Yeah, I went to Pepperdine, graduated 2012 with a degree in international business. Right after graduation, I went to work for my stepdad's company. He had a vacancy. His managers in Juneau, Alaska quit. So I decided, hey, that sounds like a crazy experience, but I could learn something about management. So I committed to 1 year, and I went up there to Juneau for that 1 year, exactly 365 days, and I came back home. And during that time when I was up there, I kind of
You lasted a full year in Alaska.
It was
That's more than I would have lasted.
a little crazy.
Continue.
We had some crazy experiences, just employee issues, and like people. I had to start from scratch, hiring everyone from scratch a couple of times. So it was nuts. But I can go into that another day. But when I was up there, had a lot of downtime in the night, so I kind of learned about Alibaba and buying products and importing them, and then it was actually like white label, which I ended up getting in trouble the next year. So don't recommend that. And then after that, eventually I got through the 3-letter course. I'm blanking on the name of it, but a lot of people, tens of thousands of people have gone through this course. And that's where I kind of started the private label journey. And I guess that would be 2016 when I started really with private label. So.
All right. Now, fast forward to, we're here right at the end of 2021. I know you have different partnerships and everything. You have some that are your own products throughout all your different marketplaces. What's your overall gross sales going to end up being, you think, this year in 2021?
I'd say 10 million.
$10 million, guys, from somebody who just a few years ago was freezing his butt off in Alaska, wondering like, is this life all that life wanted to give me? Sure, he had a business degree, but it's not like in the Pepperdine business program they teach you about how to sell on Amazon. So it's not like he came in with this special knowledge, and he was able to scale up like that. Now we've also got Eugene here. Eugene, his, depending on when you're listening to this, his podcast episode, his very first podcast episode with us might be live right now. So make sure to go check out the Serious Sellers podcast to see if it's there. You can get his full backstory. But Eugene, same questions to you. Like, what did you study in college, if you went to college, and what was like your main jobs originally, and then how did you transition to e-commerce?
Sure. I graduated from both Penn State and Muhlenberg College, finance and econ background. Right after college, just kind of went into a insurance role, more in the risk management underwriter side. Very exciting. And then during that time,
about as exciting as being in Alaska, I would say.
That's more exciting for sure. At that time, then my cousin was also started something just a small eBay business. And that at that time, that's when I kind of joined up and just like helped him out a little bit. And we started in the basement. And that was no Amazon yet. That was just strictly eBay. And then the minute in 2008 is when we started Amazon. In the beginning of the year, we signed up, and pretty much it took off from there. I mean, we saw the potential from eBay kind of carried us. That allowed us to bootstrap and just start Amazon, and it just took off from there.
Okay. And then now fast forward, a few years. 2021, what's your estimated gross sales across all platforms going to be?
Projected right now, obviously there's still a whole month left ahead of us. So I have a pretty big window, probably 18 to 20 million in that range.
Wow. So another 8-figure seller here. Now, both of you sell on Walmart. Ryan, what's your estimated Walmart sales? I know you told us your whole pie right there, but what's the piece of the pie that's Walmart this year going to be for you?
Yeah, it's between 600 and 700,000.
Okay, so almost on the cusp of 7-figure Walmart sellers. Well, how about you, Eugene? I know you're pretty big on Walmart as well.
Walmart should be 2.5 to 3 million this year.
Oh, so you are a 7-figure seller on Walmart. So guys, it's not all about Amazon. E-commerce is a variety of marketplaces. Amazon definitely is the beast, and that's where you're going to get most of your sales from. But here's two individuals you saw, they don't have necessarily some educational background or some work background that is like, okay, this is a prerequisite to be an Amazon seller, but they were able to transition and go to e-commerce. And I'm assuming this is your full-time gigs, obviously, at those numbers, right? You guys you're not still making trips up to Alaska, or you're not still freelancing as a bookkeeper for somebody or anything, right? Now, again, we don't want to be like those ads you see out there where people have Lamborghinis and they say, this is, take my course and this is exactly how you're going to make 20 million, you're going to make 10 million or something like that. We like to keep it real, but it is possible. And now, Ryan, if you had to tie your success down to one thing, or if you had one advice to give to people about why, how come you have been so successful out there, what do you think has helped you along the way? I don't know if it's a mindset thing or it's just some mantra you live by, or just like, hey, I use all the data. I mean, whatever it is, what has helped you, Ryan, to get to this level where maybe other people haven't?
I think it's just keeping with it, consistency, staying with it every single day, and also joining masterminds, because I've been in several different masterminds. Most of them are paid, and that, I notice a big difference between the free ones and the paid ones, and you can gain a lot of really good knowledge from the collective people in the group. So that was definitely a huge advantage.
Okay, excellent. And what about you, Eugene? What one or two things you think have really, set it apart for you?
I think the biggest thing is the having a really robust team. I mean, that's what kept us in business since 2008. Is that team took a while to develop, but we have experts in almost every different area. Of course, that you're giving up some profits to have a very robust team, but that allows you to manage the stress that Amazon sellers have. It gets pretty intense at times, especially when like suspensions or violations and all these takedown things happen. But yeah, really, I think that's the secret recipe for us, is just having a very, really awesome team that I love, and they take care of us.
Okay. Now, one other question I want to have for each of you is, sometimes our parents have different ideas for us when we're growing up, or sometimes it's hard to tell family, like, yeah, I'm about to sell on Amazon. Like for us, it's all like normal. Like, of course, that's a normal thing. But like, we got to remember that, people out there are like, what? Sell on Amazon? You're supposed to be a doctor or something like that. Ryan, what did your parents want you to, like, did your parents want you to do that Alaska business when you grew up? And then was it hard to tell them, hey, I'm going to do my own thing on Amazon?
Yeah. So that's my stepdad's business. My stepdad and my mom allowed me to really chase whatever dreams I wanted to. So they were happy that I decided to join the family company. And after Alaska, I did stay on with the family company here in Las Vegas at their other location for another 2.5 years. But yeah, January 1st, 2016 is when I stopped working for them and I went full-time, stay-at-home entrepreneur. And that was a little difficult, but they were on board from the beginning. I didn't find out until a couple of years later, like maybe 2019, that my dad actually was really upset that I quit the family business. And because, he's more the old school model where you go to school, get good grades so you can get a good job, so you can work that job for 30, 40 years, save up, live within your means so you can retire and, enjoy life once you're retired, kind of thing. So he didn't really understand the whole entrepreneur thing, but I did overcome that because I sold one of my businesses in 2020. It's just a small 6-figure exit, but it was enough to pay off the mortgage, pay off the student loans, and become completely debt free. So ever since then, my dad's been completely supportive and kind of changed his tune on what entrepreneurialism is. Yeah.
What about you, Eugene? What did your parents want from you when you quote unquote grew up? And was it a difficult thing to say, oh yeah, I'm giving everything up and I'm gonna sell on eBay or whatever, however you started?
I grew up with my parents had owned a couple of Chinese restaurants growing up all through my childhood up until I think my early college days. So of course there was pressure on there to take over the business. Definitely wasn't something I wanted to do. And I guess as soon as I broke that news, yeah, of course they were disappointed, but they quickly sold. So at that point I had really no choice to okay, well, I have to pursue and work the degree and find a real job. But like I said, when I was in a corporate risk management job, but when that eBay opportunity came along, I was so young and like no kids, no family. I had nothing to lose, so it was a very easy jump and transition.
All right, awesome. So, guys, again, I hope this is inspiring to you out there. You saw here. These are typical people, average Joes, as we like to say. Their parents might have had some plan for them. They might have had a plan. They went to school for something else, but they saw the opportunity that selling online had. They took it. They took the steps needed. Joining masterminds, taking courses to be successful on Amazon, and then they made themselves into a success. And you don't hear their parents complaining now that they're making $10-20 million on Amazon. So how much of their journey can you guys follow? That's going to be up to you. But Ryan and Eugene, I think you're inspiring a lot of people out there. It's really amazing to see what you've accomplished. And if we do this again at the end of next year, it'd be great to see where you guys ended up in 2022. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, you see those cool Legos that Eugene had in the background there. Anyways, Eugene's story, Ryan's story, very inspiring to see how far they've come to now 8 figures worth of sales on Amazon and Walmart. And did they come from some super, tech background with an advanced degree in entrepreneurship or online marketing? No. They did not, as you can see. And but that didn't stop them from getting into Amazon and teaching them how to make money on this platform. And you guys absolutely can do the same. Now, we're not going to say again, hey, just follow their footsteps and you're going to be guaranteed to make $8 million or something, or $20 million. No, that's not the way this works. But this just shows you what is possible, even if you do not have some big background that may necessarily prepare you for online entrepreneurship. All right, we've got one other quick interview here. I wish you guys could actually see this. So if you're watching this or if you're listening to this in your podcast, when you go home in about a week, this will probably be on YouTube. So make sure to watch this because you'll just like melt of the cute factor in this next interview I have. So again, we had in the last episode someone who was a teenager who became a service provider on Amazon. Well, this person is not even yet a teenager. And so anyways, before I say more, go ahead and listen to this quick interview. All right, guys. So we've got a treat for you. We've talked about how, at any age is never too early to start, getting into the Amazon world. Well, we've got probably the biggest, I don't know what I would call this, like the biggest proof of this ever. I've got here Mohammed you're in the UK, right, Mohammed?
Yeah.
And how old are you?
8.
Now, this is it's really interesting story. So, like, what grade are you in school?
Year 3.
Year 3, so 3rd grade. Okay. Now you are doing KDP on Amazon, or what's your experience with Amazon?
Like KDP and Helium-10 and stuff.
So you use Helium-10 for KDP. That's awesome. We're definitely going to find out how you use Helium-10. But like, how did you first, like, does, one of your parents make books on KDP, or how did you even find out about KDP?
Yeah, my mom kind of helps me with it a bit.
So does your mom also make books and things like that for KDP?
Yeah.
Okay. So what kind of books have you made on KDP, or have you already made books on KDP?
Yeah, I've made quite a few, and I've just been interested in the way of making books, and it's been like a good experience, like getting to try it out.
Now, I'm assuming that your friends from school in year 3, you're probably the only one doing KDP on Amazon, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Have you ever, do you make any children's books, or are they just books for anybody?
They're books for anybody, but mostly I like to make children books and things.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, how did you start using Helium-10? Like how long have you been using Helium-10?
Maybe for a couple of months now.
Okay. What's your favorite tool?
The Cerebral Search.
Ah, okay. So Cerebral, you like getting the keywords from there?
Yeah.
And now for your books that you and your parents make, are these that only go on the Amazon UK website, or does it go on Amazon US in America too?
They go on a couple other websites, like in different countries and stuff, because they're available to different countries, but just in different prices.
Do you use any other tools in Helium-10 other than Cerebro?
Sometimes, but I like to use Cerebro because it gives me good keywords, and also it gives me extra things to use, and I can export it to Excel easily and use and sort it.
Okay. Wow, you even know how to use Excel. When I was 7 and 8 years old, well, actually, I don't even think Microsoft Excel existed back then. But yeah, I definitely was not making books and not using spreadsheets and things like that. So, do you look for like high search volume, or what makes a good keyword for you? Like, what do you really look for when you're in Cerebro?
I look for like which book has the most sales or search volume, so that I can get like good keywords from that exact book.
Okay. So do you use the Chrome extension, like X-Ray and things like that too?
Yeah.
Is there any books that are on Amazon that you helped your parents make, or that you made on your own that we could search for, and maybe we can buy it so we can take a look at your work?
Maybe. I think there's one that's called my journal of thoughts, and
Okay.
it just has space to journal your thoughts, and it's just lines, and I've done like a nice like book cover.
How do you make like a book cover? Do you like draw it yourself, or do you use like another service in order to get
I
artwork
use
for
like
it?
different softwares to do it, like Photoshop and Canva.
So you know how to use Photoshop and Canva too.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So you use Helium 10, Photoshop, Canva. This is great. Now, how much time a week are you spending on it? It's just like something you do for fun sometimes, or like every day you do a little bit?
Just for fun, a couple of times in the day.
Your books, are they like for free, or do they cost money to buy?
They cost money.
So then, I'm assuming it's your parents' account you're using. Do they give you some allowance, or do they give you some money from the books that you do, or do they keep it all for themselves?
Yeah, they give me the money that I earn.
Now, with the money you've earned, what kind of things do you buy?
I buy different like sweets, and I also like to buy different stationery supplies.
Do you ever want to do other things on Amazon? Like, have you heard about like, how you can like make products and sell on Amazon, or are you just happy like making the books for KDP?
Yeah, my dad does like different products as well.
Okay, so like maybe one day you want to learn how to do that part of it too?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you have to say? Like maybe there's somebody else who's like 7, 8, 9 years old out there. Is KDP something you would suggest doing? Like hey, you should give it a try. Or what would you say?
I would say like to just take it easy and do a couple of like I do a couple of like books a day, so I like I make one whole book and then maybe publish it the next day or so. So I would definitely give them that advice to like do one book a day and then publish it the next.
One book a day. My goodness, that's a lot. That's a lot of work. How many books total do you think you've made then?
10 to 50. A lot.
Wow.
10 to 50.
That is a lot. That is a lot. All right. Well, it's great to meet you, and I hope to meet you in person one day. I think you might be the youngest user of Helium 10 that I know, and possibly the youngest, we can consider Amazon seller, but you are definitely proof that, you don't have to be any certain age to get started on Amazon. So Mohammed, thank you so much for joining us, and I wish you the most of success in your Amazon journey.
Thanks.
All right, there you have it, guys. So again, if you think you're too young to get started on Amazon, here we've got a 7, 8-year-old who likes using Cerebro. I wish I could use his accent, but that is so cute. Really, it's for anybody. And I'm saying this as a joke and stuff, like anybody can do it, but it's true, right? I mean, look at him. He is 7 years old. Maybe he cannot create his own private label product to sell on Amazon like the rest of our guests did. That's fine. Like that's not what he tried to do. What did he do? He's making books for other children using KDP. Maybe you're 30 or 40 years old. You don't have enough money to start selling on Amazon yet. There's no shame in going through KDP or Merch by Amazon or other forms of selling on Amazon that do not require any initial investment. The point is, what he did at his age is he did what was available to him within his means. All right, he didn't go try and do a private label product. That 8-year-old can't do that. If you don't have too much money, don't go try and invest your entire savings of your whole life in trying to do a private label product. You should probably do another form of selling first. We actually just did a workshop recently on many forms of selling on Amazon. You can check out that product research workshop at productresearchnow.com, and you'll be able to see 28 different ways in order to find opportunity to sell on Amazon. And all of our guests today, that's how they started. They started with a way of finding a product to sell on Amazon, or finding a way to make money, like Salman did. Salman couldn't, that we had in the last episode. Salman couldn't, come up with the money in order to start a private label product right away. So he went a different route. But every single one of these people, They all came from different backgrounds, as we said. They analyzed their situation. What can they do? What can't they do? What are their goals? All right. What's stopping them? How can they overcome those obstacles, and how can they crush their goals? And now each and every one of them has. All right. So I hope you found these last 2 episodes inspiring. These are all great stories of people, average Joes, just like you, just like me, average Joes, average Sallys. They did not let obstacles hold them back from reaching their financial dreams by means of Amazon. So I hope you guys can, find yourself in one of these guests that we've been having and use them as inspiration in order to start your own career online. So I hope you guys enjoyed these episodes. If you did, make sure to go ahead and like and subscribe this if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're watching this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and leave us a review if you get a chance. We absolutely love those as well. So I'll see you guys in the next episode.